Hello, welcome back. Today I make this tutorial a new mega tutorial, and we start with them, and it's about this helicopter there, and let's start it. The problem on this helicopter is you don't know which part is singular built and which is on one piece. I want to make the complete part here singular at one piece and the rest in other pieces. That here too, that I'm making other ones and that one and the rest. So I try now without doors, without windows, I try to make the base structure of that. So how we start. We see here how that looks. So we need at first a mesh cube, add mesh cube, and this is an object where the left side and the right side is similar, it's the same thing. So if it is the same thing, we ever use a mirror modifier, because when you change here some, it changes there automatically. Without that, that will be changed other than this one, and that looks awful. So what we need here is a subdivide. So we go edit mode and click there, subdivide. I don't know where it is here in the new here. So then we delete what we don't need, that is the half of that. So we can go here, Alt A, deselect all, B, border selection with background selection, and then we can X delete vertices, the half. Now we have here, this is important, this point here, that is called the pivot point. That's the middle point of an object, and when it is here, we can use perfectly a mirror modifier. So when we go here, take a modifier, say it should be a mirror modifier, and now we must give them the axis where he should do that. But before we can do that, we must apply the rotation scale of this object. So object and apply rotation scale. Now we can use that, and you see here when we take the y-axis, we can double that. So we only must make that for one side, and we have automatically the right side too. Good. So this object is not easy. It starts with this front must come out, so we bring them out. Grab X, that's G and X. Then we see it goes down here smaller, so that means this word must be more back. Here is the coordinates for the movement, so we can take them here and we get it lower. We see the problem directly is how that we bend it, and we see it is bended here lower than there. So when we look, we see it here, this bending is another than that one. So we go all in all with the middle point. It's Alt mouse, right mouse click at the middle. We can go a little bit deeper. So for the first, that is okay, but we see this point here and this point is at the same height, and that don't works. So we need that here and bring them back also, and a little bit more deeper, because it should be a rounded one. Then the same as here, we must go here, more back, and a little up. Then here we can go down a little, and so we have this base structure, but here it isn't rounded, so we must get them here out. So we take this both birds and bring them out. Now better is when this here is more straight, so Control R, we make here a loop in and bring that one more there. So we have here a longer part before it bends there. Now we check that all with a modifier, and we take here the subdivision surface for that, and you see we have that part here. It don't look so bad, that's normally. So we must first smooth that. Smooth, moment, object, shade smooth. So now that looks better, and it's not enough banded, so we need here the subdivision level that is higher. So we take here 3 maybe, or 2. 2 is normally good, and we see it here from the front. And when you look at the helicopter, that here is too spiky at the front. It must be flatter, more flat. So we get here this whole side more back. That makes that better. And all in all, that must be larger. Must look here, that is a problem, because normally we need here a cut, but then we get n gones here, a 3 counted one, and we only use 4 counted ones. That is a problem in the moment. We must go here with this part a little bit deeper. It's better. And when we look at the front, it is huge, very huge. So when we look here from side, numpad 3 and Alt A, deselect all, and then B for box selection, mark that part and bring that more out. Then we have that big part like it is on the Heli original. So what we see that here is more spiky, so I did wrong. So Alt A, deselect, bring that here more to the front, and then Alt A, deselect, mark that with circle selection and bring that on, and that we do each long as we get this part here. When we look, that is too spiky, but that maybe that can be correctly, and that is going straight up. So we have to make here a loop, because it should be sharper. He rounds it up because we have this modifier, the subdivision modifier, and because of that he rounds it up, and when we set there a loop, then he will sharp up that. So what we don't need is this here, because it is open there, so we got this one. And here the only problem is it must go more up. So when we take that here and bring them up, then we can take this one and bring them up. And then that looks better, but it's all in all it is shorter than that here what we have. So we can bring this one more there and the back one too. So that is more that we want. Yeah, in my opinion that looks good, but it can be a little bit more smaller in this set direction. So mark all, scale, set. Then we have that. Looks good, but I think that one here must be more outside because there's long flat parts in the front. Maybe just a little bit too much. So such like that. Good. We have the outer rims there. We have that one. That's okay. Then the door we don't need, so we must go here up and build this holder for the window there. Then take a roof on and the downside. The downside is here in the half, we see that, and it is smaller than the upward part. So that means we can take here our model and take this one here, and now we can take that one and bring that up, so that part here is less round than that one. And we can take that whole thing here and bring that more up, and we can take here this whole thing and make that smaller. I think that one is good. Just too high here. So we get here box selection, bring that more down. That comes better. So good. Yeah, we must go up from here, this point. We must straighten up. And the problem is when we take that, that is much too big for that. Normally we must make here a second loop cut. Control R, make a loop. And then we extrude that part upward and lean them back to that part there. So we need a side view, so we take that whole thing, grabbing, and try to bring that here. Then we select with C circle selection the pictures here, and we need them in the other direction, so we turn them R to rotate, set 180 degrees. R set 180, so it is turned, and we have that. So we must look where we have our other pictures there and our stuff there. Is it good? we bring that in front for sure. So where's the rest? I don't know. It's eel. So we grab that and bring that there. So we see here the original, and we see that is completely false, so we scale that down, grab it there, scale in the X, or scale in the whole direction. Here must come this part. So we have to take this whole part here and bring them backward, and bring that here more down, and the rest more down than the others, like that, and then that. So we have that. We see here we must go a little bit more back, so Alt A deselect, circle selection with C, and bring that back. So now we have to build this part there. To do that, it's better we delete that here and make a second one. So extrude with E and move to side. So when we now take here these parts, then we will get, by E extruding, we have directly the solid one, and we can lean them to the side. Then we have here the start of the part. Make a little pause. Okay, so we go on. We have now that part here. It is straight, and that's correctly, but it should be on the same height. So we click S for scale, set, and 0. So he makes that straight line. And we have to build here the part for the roof. So at first we bring that here more out, so E to extrude, and bring them to the middle point simply. That should be matched then, and it matches when you click here on the mirror modifier, the clipping option. Then you can move here and ellipse down the middle. So that means we can take here this whole part and extrude them. So we get here the top part, one side view, and bring them here till the side. That fucking software there. Yeah, and to get this here away, we must loop there. So Control R to make a loop in and bring them to the side. So we get that here sharper, and we need another one there to get it there sharp too. So we bring that up, and with these angles you can handle the roundness of these edges there for later the window that comes in there. We have here shading error, that is here is darker than there, and that is because we have no loop down there. So Control R, make a loop in, bring it down, and then it's sharpened there. It is too sharp here, but that all comes later. And we can open up here this face, because there is no face. So we can select here the faces, and here is the face, X, delete only faces. Now that is open up. See it there. and we don't need here this edge, so we go here to X selection and then mark that with right mouse and then X to delete and delete the edges. So that is now an open one. That's correctly. But what we don't have here is that it is a rounded one, the roof, like the front too. So that means that one must be going more to front, but we need here more cuts to get their round look. So Control R and bring their 3 other parts in. Then we activate here the proportional editing, and then we can press here G to grab X for the axis and then roll the middle mouse button to get the influte area and then move the mouse to the X, and you see when you roll then the mouse you can influte how it should be bended. And we'll let that at the start there, not much but a little, and that's okay for that version. Good. That should be all in all smaller than the rest, so that all must go more to the Y direction. So Alt A, deselect all, then we get here word selection and circle selection with C and bring them more there. We can disable proportional editing, go more here, and then press R to rotate and bring it to the right axis. Here for sure we must correct the height, and here too. So when you will make it correctly, you get this whole line and S to scale set for the axis, 0 for the same bending and position and rest. So here comes the down part and here comes the door. The door is singular, that is another object. So we only need the bottom there. And when we look, here is the door and here we have the bottom. So there's only half of there is a little bit deeper, is the bottom that goes under the door. So that means we must get here a part out. I don't think it is directly this part here, it should be in the middle of that. So Control R, make another loop in. We get here the front a little bit out, and the down part here also. So with circle selection, then you can move that all. We get here an error. That is because that here isn't correct. So we press them as long out as these highlighted parts there. And when we move them long enough, they will go and be hidden and gone. A little bit crazy to understand, but that's the way it is. Good. See, here is an arrow, so one is far away than the other, so that means we must correct them and them to bring them in a float. That here too. And then check the positions. Here is an error because it don't goes here through that. So we must make here a cut through that, and that we do with the cutting tool. the knife, click there, click then that point, and can click here, left click, left click, left click, and at the end you must press spacebar to accept the cutting. So spacebar and it's cut. Now we should have no problems. Good. And we want to take out that part here, the bottom. So click that word and then hold control and click the last part, and then he marks that part. So now we can press E to extrude and bring that out. And as before, he tries to round up that, and we only can handle that by making loops in. So Control R, make the loop in, and you can handle the roundness of that. And we also need one there. But before we do that, we will clear that here. That's not good, that is uneven. So we bring that here more down. Moment. Must select all. So. And only a little bit should be other. So we can take here this whole line. And scale set 0, so that is a straight line. We don't have any lines like that here. That's horrible. With that you can make nothing. So scale set 0, and we have straight lines, and we need straight lines. The only part where we can do such is here. We can go there a little bit down and a little bit like that if you want. But then you must recalculate that here to get in float. So it flows like a river. Good. Here must be a little bit back. So we have that part here too. When you want, control this roundness by here. So Control R, make here a loop, and then you can control the roundness there in this edge. Good. I know that it all looks awful in a moment, yeah. That here must lean more back, and so on and so on. We make that. So we can take that part here and bring them a little bit to the X. That rounds up the edge of that. But that is not all. We have to do much more with that. Yeah, but we make that later. That's not our problem yet. So when we look at the original, then we see here is the door. So here must some part that goes up for holding the door. And we see that here is too deep. It must be higher. Yeah, it should be that here too. So we get here this both words and extrude with E and bring them there. Then we need here Control R, a loop at this part. Then we close that part with F and select that once and close it with F. That's it. So here we need to go up. So Control R, bring here a loop in. Then we take the rest here and bring them much more there, so that we can go straight up here. That means we select them both and extrude them upward. We got also this stuff. So we have here Control R, make there a loop, Control R, make there a loop, and then we can control the roundness of the edge. So there comes the door later that we will build later, and Control R, we bring that here to the upper part so that we can connect that once and that once with F. We close them. Same one, we have to Control R, make the loops to control the roundness. So that we must control also. It is too fuzzy there, you see it when you look from top or so. Then you can better control that to bring it to fit with the rest of that. Good. That is the top part, and we need it also by the down part. So that means this point must go more out. This point also, but lean back. Here it is different. We go here back and the other one stays there. Here that must come more out. So that is leaned in that direction, and that here too. So we get that leaning effect that we need. And we have the start of our helicopter. That part here will completely move to the side. So, and we need here another loops in to make that a little bit rounder there. So Control R, make there 3 loops, and we can take the middle one and with proportional editing grab Y and then roll them with the mouse button, and we only want to include that one, so that's okay, and we have that for the start. There's much to do to make that much more better, but that is the start. Thanks a lot for watching. We see us in the next tutorial part.